I know these don't look the best, but I hear there's an egg shortage.
Hello everyone, this is Jamerica from the Jamerica Life, and I want to talk to you today about this and this. I know these aren't the best. They might be a little dirty, but guess what? I'm still getting eggs. There's an egg shortage apparently. I didn't know about it because I don't have to get eggs. And I hear that they're going up. So I'm gonna give you a solution to some of the stuff that's going on right now. I know that they're saying that, what is it, bird flu or whatever. Bird flu is not your domestic birds. It's those wild birds. Go ahead and give them something. So go ahead. I'm gonna tell you how to solve your egg problem. There's multiple ways, but do it. Go ahead. Let's get to it. So I hear there's an egg shortage, and people who have hens, not chickens. Chickens are hens and roosters. You want hens or pullets if you're buying them from Tractor Supply. Now, if you go to places like Tractor Supply, there's a minimum of 4 that you have to get. And remember, you want pullets. That is a female chicken. If you get a straight run, that's 50-50. It could be roosters and pullets. So if you're getting the small ones, go ahead and do it. If you're buying from someone else, go ahead and research your breed, because there's a lot of people trying to get rid of roosters. And if you tell them you want chickens, guess what? A rooster is also a chicken. There's a play on words, but roosters are also chickens. If you can't have chickens, go ahead and get quail. Quail also lay eggs, right? I say it's 4-1. 4-1. They taste almost exactly the same. I scrambled these because then they're exactly like this. Quail has, I think there's more yolk in a quail than there is in a chicken egg. And they say that there's more protein, but y'all can look that up, in a quail egg than a chicken egg. They taste exactly the same. Now, quail and chickens are both outdoor birds. Quail, however, I think they're more work because you have to make sure they have feed and water. Chickens, I'm gonna tell you the truth, you can leave chickens alone for about a week or two. If you leave them enough food and water, they are good to go. They don't need you. All they need you for is food and water. And then occasionally, if you have them in an enclosed space, go ahead and clean that stuff out like we did on our other video and put new fresh bedding out there. But chickens are, in my opinion, more self-sufficient than quail. Quail are more work to me. Quail, let me tell you what I think about quail. What I've noticed about quail. They will fight to the point of exterminating each other. Chickens are not the same. Chickens will only go after a bird, first of all, a new bird. If you just throw a new bird in there, chickens will go after that bird because that bird has not been properly incorporated in the flock. What I do with new birds is I put them inside the chicken run, right, in a cage, and let the rest of the birds get used to them being around there. And then after about, I think, 2 weeks, I let them out. That's why that dog cage is in there. I let them do that with chicks also, because they will exterminate anything that they see as an outsider. Funny thing, they don't go after the finch that come in there, which I want them to do. Anyway, now I'm gonna get into that. So if you incorporate a new bird in there, go ahead and cage them for about 2 weeks. 2 weeks. Inside there where the chickens can be exposed to them, but they can't get to them. Because if they can, if you just throw a new bird into your flock, you're going to find some birds that ain't alive, they're unalive. That's just my opinion. So quail, however, they're a different breed. Literally. They will go after one another if they don't have food or water. And even if they do, if there's not enough space, there's too much space. Usually if there's too much space, they get territorial and they fight. Quail are more work. Okay? Chickens, I said, I think the longest I've left my chickens is about 2 weeks. To make sure they had enough food and water. When I came back, they were just fine. Now, I didn't have a lot of chickens at that time. I had like maybe five chickens. Anyway, leave them enough food and water and they take care of themselves. You come back and the thing I did find when I got back is that one of my hens became broody and I couldn't use the eggs because she was sitting on them. That's how I ended up with another extra set of chickens. And one of the many dramas that happen, which that is Jamerica's life. There's an egg shortage. If you can't have chickens, go ahead. If you have an outside area, go ahead and get you about, I'd say for each person, you're gonna need about 3 quail. Quail lay almost every day. Out of 365 days, they say that quail will lay 300 eggs. They don't stop. As long as you give them, even if you give them false light, like I do with these chicks, because I had some that were sick, I brought them in there. Every day, those quail have laid an egg. Every day. So, chickens are not necessarily the same. Chickens have different breeds. Different breeds give you more or less eggs. And I have some Cochins that don't lay that much. But then I have, what are those? Rhode Island Reds. They lay, this is a Rhode Island Red egg. It's huge. Let me pick up a smaller egg compared to it. Rhode Island eggs are huge. They're large eggs. They're large brown eggs. There's no difference in brown eggs. I got brown eggs. I got blue eggs. I got green eggs. Here's a green egg. It doesn't matter. They all taste the same. They're just prettier. Some people are like, oh my God, look at that. All right. You get over that after about a year, less than a year, maybe a month. All you want is eggs. There's an egg shortage because they're saying that the bird disease is going around and hatcheries are losing chicks because they're hatcheries. They hatch chickens, right? So they're losing chicks that go to you, and they're losing eggs that they sell to the department stores. And you, us, them, let's say them, those who do not have their own flock or don't know anybody who has chickens, and man, it's not hard to find people with chickens. Chicken owners for years have been hiding out because there's a stigmatism on having fowl. I don't know what's wrong. I don't know what's going on. Cities are now changing that, and they're allowing homeowners within the city limits to go ahead and have more birds. But you can have as many, well, some places you can have as many dogs as you want. And chickens, I think, at least they give you something. I mean, the dogs provide protection, but dogs are certainly louder than chickens, or roosters for that matter. But we'll get into that later. There's a stigmatism on chicken owners, so a lot of them have went underground. A lot of them, I have chickens in the woods, and all of my neighbors, well, most of my neighbors have livestock out there. I haven't heard any cow out there, but I've certainly heard of other things. Goose, geese, guinea hens, chickens, all kind of birds are out there. Turkeys, I've heard turkeys out there, but the turkeys are probably wild because I've seen some flying around. But chicken owners have had to go into hiding. But usually there are no restriction on quail. And if you don't like this sort of quail egg, go ahead and get some Coturnix quail. And they'll give you these little cute blue ones. They don't taste any different. They just look different. See? Just saying. There's a lot of restrictions out there, and now the egg prices have skyrocketed. A chicken, a hen, right now, if you buy it on one of the websites, I got my first set from Craigslist. I just did, right? Pullets are running about $4 to $5. Some people are trying to get rid of them. You can get them as low as $1 for some little baby chicks. And for chicks, you got to wait 6 weeks. For chickens, you gotta wait about 6 months to get an egg. About that time, they start laying. Quail, they start laying in 7 weeks. That's a good difference, right? And quail don't stop. As long as they get enough light, quails just keep on cranking out eggs over and over and over again. You're not gonna get a reduction in egg. Chickens, they slow down in the wintertime, and it's not because of the feed. I don't know about years ago, but right now, it's not because of the feed, it's because there's not enough sunlight. Chickens have to have, I don't forget how many hours, but they need sunlight. All birds do, including quail, but chickens are more sensitive to it. They don't get enough sunlight, you ain't gonna get no eggs. They don't get enough sunlight. If they don't get the right nutrients, you ain't gonna get, if you get an egg, you ain't gonna get a good egg. You want an egg with a hard shell. And another thing, if you're getting chicken eggs with soft shells, go ahead and buy you some oyster shells. That's crushed. It's called crushed oyster shells. Or take the shell of the chicken, dry it out, and put it in their feed. Feed it back to them because they need the calcium in the egg in order to make a hard shell. It's nothing worse than picking up an egg and it crushing in your hand. And even worse, if your chickens start laying rubber eggs. Rubber eggs are dangerous. It can off your chicken. So I have to go ahead and do this. I have so many eggs that I'm gonna have to start freezing them. And I picked this up from another lady. And I'm gonna show you what I do when I have an abundance of eggs. Because I've jarred them, I cooked them, I have them in the refrigerator, but there are too many and I need to store them. So there's another way to do it. And I do not have a freeze dryer. I don't know if I'm gonna get one. Because I'm getting mixed reviews on it, so I have to research it because freeze dryers are a lot of money and I don't have a lot of money. So let me show you what I do with the overabundance of eggs that I have. So what you're gonna need, and these are going to go into the freezer, is 12 eggs, and we need to wash these eggs off. These are fresh eggs. The bloom is still on them. I keep the bloom on because the bloom stops the egg from going bad. When chickens lay an egg, there's a coating on the outside that protects the chick. You wanna wash that off. And you want some of these. You want a cupcake holder and you want some cupcake molds. See that? Wash these eggs off and I'll be right back. So I washed the eggs off. We're gonna put our molds into the cupcake holder. Make room in your freezer. You're gonna need it. Okay. We're gonna put these in here one by one. The reason why you use these is because you want to be able to get the eggs out of this cupcake holder without fighting with it. You just take your eggs. So you just take your clean eggs, right? I'm a lefty, by the way. Crack them. You put them in the cupcake holders. One by one. Real simple. Now these are fresh eggs. I see some of them were fertilized. I see a little spot of blood in here. That's okay. I don't mind. If you mind, go ahead and get another egg. Some people complain when they see that the eggs are fertilized. I remember when I was a little girl, it used to happen to us all the time. It doesn't happen so much now because the owners or the farmers have made sure that the roosters were separated out. As a matter of fact, in other countries, they shred the males. It's becoming less and less desirable. They're trying to stop them from doing it. But it's just how I do it. When I don't have any more room, I just broke a yolk, but it's okay. Real simple. And this is, even if you don't have chickens and you think that there's not going to be any eggs available, go ahead and freeze about a dozen eggs. All you have to do is defrost them and then you can use them. It's not going to affect the quality of the egg. Now, you take this and you put it in the freezer. Put a piece of wax paper on it so you don't get freezer burn. And after that, I'm going to show you what I do after it freezes. So I've placed them in the freezer. And here's some that I've already done. You get yourself a freezer bag. I forgot to write the date on this because I just did these. I need to write the date on it. And they're going to freeze and you take them out of the mold and they're going to look like this. Yep. They're preserved. You can have this for about a year, maybe longer. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. And this is me hoping that you all go ahead and get your own birds. And if you can't, find somebody who has some and either purchase them or make friends with them. Do what you have to do. Chickens are running about $20, $25. Hens are running about $20, $25 each. You're not being robbed. That's how much they cost. Pullets, maybe $5. Quail, $2 for the small ones. $5 for the bigger ones, maybe $7 for the bigger ones, the ones that are laying. Your quail are gonna lay quicker than your chickens. Quail are gonna start laying in about 7 weeks. Chickens about 6 months. So if you want to get both, go ahead and do that, or make friends, or find somebody local who has eggs, because most likely they're gonna have eggs. This is Jamerica with Jamerica Life. I thank you guys for being with me, and go ahead and either get your own flock or someone who does, or find someone who does. Bye, y'all.